For guide and file, you can file, but that's it. It makes you file the 160s and the 150s when they're not necessary. So I want to say they came out with this guide and file probably a year ago. Basically, if you go online and go to the court's website, it'll say file from home or something like that. And you'll go in, you'll fill out some questions. It's kind of like a Legal Zoom or one of these 100 other types of online companies where you answer a question and it fills out the form for you. So the forms are only as good as the answers you give, type of thing. But then it allows you to e-file directly with the court. So that seems nice. And you can get that part done and that part's simple. But the downsides are this: it makes you file property declarations, the FL 160s. And what I don't like about these property declarations is it's way too much information to make public record for the court. I can't tell you how many people that call me and say they watch these videos and say, Tim, I almost filed on my own. And, the guide and file is going to make me file these 160s. And we have to list all our assets and debts, account numbers, values, vehicle information, year, make, model, license plate, everything, every asset and debt you have, credit cards, credit card numbers, how much you owe in debt, all of that gets filed with the court, and that becomes public record. Any person who knows you filed for divorce can go to that county and order copies and say, oh, they have, $500,000 in a 401k, and I guess it's with Fidelity. Here's the account number. It's just not worth doing. I know you're trying to save some money and do your own paperwork, but all of that is public record. I hate that. Clients, I talk about this so much. The clients say, Tim, we want to file, but we almost did the guide and file. We almost did on our own. They're trying to make us file the property declarations, and they're just not necessary. When that information, two problems. One, it becomes public information. Two, now you've made the court aware of it. So let's say these people that we handle these divorce cases from 2020, 20, 21, 22, et cetera, they file these property declarations with credit cards and bank accounts and vehicles and house and so forth. Now, 3, 4, 5 years later, we're finalizing their divorce and these things don't exist. Well, they'll say, well, we don't have those assets or debts anymore, so we're not going to address them. No, we still have to address them because you've told the court you have them. Yes, I'm sure they are aware. Well, did 5 years go by? It may not exist, but you still have to tell the court what you did with it. So every time I take on a case where people started their own divorce and filed these property declarations, I have to now go in and make sure that we address them. When I say address them, I mean, say petitioner's keeping, respondent's keeping, or this asset or debt no longer exists, and how it was disposed, it was sold, and where'd the money go? Who kept it? At the end of the day, what I'll do is say you had a car that no longer exists because you sold it. I'll say XYZ vehicle went to petitioner because you kept the money from the sale. You have to address it. If you don't, even when it's a default with agreement, they're going to compare your settlement agreement to your 160s that you filed with your petition and say, well, there's 4 assets here that you didn't list. We need to know what happened to them. So it can cause a lot of problems. Same with the income and expense declaration, the FL 150. The guide and file system forces you to file the income and expense declaration. They're not required anymore by the courts. Even now, mostly, I would say 99% of the time, they're not required. Some courts are requiring them on default cases when there's child support being requested, but we're not turning them in unless the court's requesting them, and most of the time they're not. So that's just more public information you're making available to someone to come log in and for 50 cents a page, order copies of your income expense. Now they know your name, address, your phone number, how much you make, where you work, the employer's address, how much your mortgage is or rent is, how much your utility. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't want people knowing what my mortgage is and all that. Technically, that information is public record. Why are you filing these income and expense declarations? So you don't want to hire me, or maybe you don't know I exist. You don't want to hire an attorney, which I totally get. Let's say you're amicable. I will protect your information, protect your identity, protect your information. But once you've put it out there, you've already done damage. I'm just telling you, it's better to start with us from scratch. We'll clean it up in the end if we have to, and we will. And I get that you don't know, not everyone, as many 3,300 videos I've done, 12 years in doing this. I know I can't reach everyone. I try.